Race heard a young woman's voice, then Ronaldo opened the door and she walked inside. His breath held as he stared at her. The little black dress, and he did mean little, and the fuck-me shoes she wore showcased her stunning body, but he could tell she wasn't used to wearing such a revealing outfit. She carried herself with confidence, but he could read people and could sense a hesitation in her. She glanced around as if wondering if anyone was gazing at her, but not in a look-at-me way. Her hair was swept up and held in place by a glittery butterfly clip, which meant it was long. He liked long hair. He smiled to himself, deciding that before the night was over, he'd see her hair hanging loose and free, and he'd ensure he soon got the chance to coil her tresses around his hand and hold tight. Ronaldo was talking to her, and Race knew the man would hustle her out, since she was not one of the people on the invitation list for tonight. Race would not let her slip through his fingers, however. He walked toward them, and she glanced at him as he approached. "Problem, Ronaldo?" Race asked. Jacqueline had watched the tuxedoed man approach while trying to convince the gatekeeper that she was allowed in. Wow. The new man was beyond gorgeous, and with an air of elegance that took her breath away. He filled out the tux with broad shoulders and a slim waist that made her wonder what he looked like without it. Thoughts of a muscular naked body filled her mind, no matter how much she tried to push them away. He brushed back his wavy dark brown hair, and his deep blue eyes turned to her. She almost sucked in a breath as their gazes met, and his full sexy mouth turned up in a smile. "No, Mr. Danner, I was just explaining to the young woman that this game is by invitation only." So this was Mr. Danner. Butterflies fluttered through her stomach. He was the man she'd come to see. "And I was explaining to him," she said in a respectful but insistent tone, "that I was invited." She held up the poker chip with the Danner logo. "It's all right, Ronaldo. I'll handle this." The man named Ronaldo hesitated, but then said, "Of course, Mr. Danner." "You're here for the game?" he asked. "Yes. I'm afraid, Miss—" He gazed at her expectantly. "Jacqueline Bell, but you can call me Jackie." He nodded. "Miss Bell, I'm afraid the game is full this evening." Her eyes widened a little, and she glanced at the table. "But I really wanted to join." She held up the chip again for him to see. "Does me having this change anything?" He took it from her, his fingers brushing hers, sending electricity shimmering up her arm, and examined the black and red chip. He laughed. "Only that I'll have to see about firing Raymond." Her gut clenched. Raymond was the one who'd helped her. "Why?" "Miss Bell, although I leave it to my assistant to make up the list of whom I invite, and to make the arrangements through Raymond, I ensure I know exactly who is invited." His midnight blue gaze locked on her, sending a shiver through her. "And you were not." God, she'd been found out. Now she'd lost Raymond his job, and she was about to be thrown out on her butt. "Please, Mr. Danner, don't fire Raymond. He was just doing me a favor, and I badgered him into it." Danner's eyebrow arched. "Raymond is your boyfriend?" "No, he's a good friend of my brother-in-law's. Please, I just wanted to meet you." His gaze turned to one of curiosity. "And why is that?" "I have something I want to talk to you about. Do you think you could give me a moment now?" She knew she was being wildly bold, but if she was about to be tossed out, she really had nothing to lose. "I'm sorry, this is my poker time. But I won't take long."